Lavinia Errico.
I love my body.
Lavinia is the founder of MoveJoy.
So the three big ones went to work. Varushka, move, work and making more money.
100%.
Change my body. You heal her whole community.
Wow.
You're like a little bee.
Agree.
Amazing.
Great. I love it. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching the Amarean Talk Show. It's the 5th season. And today I have an amazing guest, Lavinia Errico. Lavinia is the founder of MoveJoy. We're going to talk about MoveJoy a lot today because I think it's a great mission you're pursuing, and co-founder of Equinox.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for being with us and here. Lavinia, you are an entrepreneur. You started as an entrepreneur. Can you please tell us a bit more about yourself, about your journey?
So first of all, I was a dancer as a young
I didn't know
girl.
that.
Yes, I was a dancer. And I say that because I really believe that that's where I began having resilience and discipline and understanding that if you want something, what it takes.
Yeah.
So I really always say that my dancing as a childhood was definitely a part of my entrepreneur journey, without a doubt.
Wow.
And also my dad, my parents actually, really not just my dad. I mean, I grew up with a mom who in probably the 50s, my mom was in her 20s, a badass businesswoman when that was unheard of. Unheard of to be at that level.
Wow.
And have a seat at a table that no woman was at. So, growing up with a mom who made me feel that my mom would say, you can do whatever you want if you put your mind to it.
Love it.
So it wasn't like, no, you can't do that. You're a girl. No, you can't do that. Like, I didn't grow up in that, thankfully. That wasn't the box I was in. So, yeah. And then my dad had delis. At one point, I think he had 6 delis in New York City. And I just watched my dad work. And the truth is, I'm one of 6 children. I'm the eldest girl. I have a twin brother.
Wow.
Yeah, he's amazing. The 3 big ones always had to go to work. Like when we weren't in school, we went to work with my dad because my mom just couldn't have 6 kids home.
Yeah.
My mom had, 5 kids in 2.5 years. So because she had 2 sets of twins. So the 3 big ones went to work. And you know what? Honestly, I loved going to work with my dad. I loved taking money at the cash register. I mean, I just would be like, I want to work the cash register. I mean, I think I was like 7. My dad's like, no. I'm like, no, I'm working the cash register. I just loved it. I loved the exchange of money. I loved taking and putting something there and seeing if I couldn't get the totals to be a little bit higher. I don't know. I used to say, I think that's marketing. So when you grow up in it, you get to see there was something very spirited. My dad would talk to everyone. Everybody would walk in and be like, Danny, like he was everyone's friend. So I learned some really, really important things about entrepreneurship in my home, for sure.
That's great. It always starts from family.
For sure.
Always.
For sure.
How you became a business person, how you became entrepreneur?
Well, like I said, I worked. I mean, I'm 14 years old. I was waiting tables. I was working in restaurants. I mean, I didn't come from, if I wanted to have nicer clothes, I had to earn it. So I really believe that that's the journey, right? Like you just keep working and showing up and what that looks like, what hard work looks like. So I worked, I remember even with college, my mom dropped me off. She goes, your college is paid for, which I was so grateful. Your room and board is paid for, but all your extra expenses, you're going to have to fend for that yourself. And I was like, okay. And I literally, I went and I found this little atrium to go, and I spoke to somebody that worked there, maybe like a janitor or a maintenance man. I said, hey, can I do exercise classes in here?
Love it.
And he was like, yeah, I don't see why not. And I had my little boom box and I made flyers and I put the flyers at all of the sororities. at USC, and I started getting people that were coming, and I was like donation only, and I put a little box, and and that's kind of how I started. I think I was 19 years old.
Wow.
And I did that for a while, and then I got caught. And they were like,
It wasn't allowed?
I think insurance, if somebody would have fallen and gotten injured or something. But but it was still, I did it. I probably did it for a couple months and made money. And then there was a gym opening up right around the corner. So he came and I think he found me and said, bring your people over here. And so it was just like, it always went like that. And then I was a dancer. So I was dancing in LA, and I kind of felt like I was ready to go back to the East Coast. And it was like, and I don't really want to dance. I was like, I have to figure out, like, what do I want to do next? Like, what do I want to do next? And it's like, it takes a moment, and so a really dear girlfriend of mine was in cosmetics. She was in the like executive program, and she said, spend the day with me and whatever. And the next thing I know, I'm like, I think I could do cosmetics. So the next thing I know, I got into a program with them, and I was very entrepreneurial. Like, I've always figured out, I had good ideas, and cosmetic was great for me. It was more corporate, but I learned a lot in corporate America, for sure. A lot about sales, marketing. They had formal sales training. And I always tell young people today, you have to know how to sell.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're a doctor, you have to know how to sell. If you don't know how to sell, like, you could just be this amazing person, but you just can't make money. So sales for me was I really felt like I got so much out of it. But then at the time, my brothers and I just kept complaining, like, somebody needs to open a great gym. Because in LA at the time, the gyms were better than New York. So when I got back to New York, I'm like, this is horrible. I mean, there were some really good studios, workout studios, but I wanted like a whole thing. So we were all kind of complaining, and then we sort of looked at each other, and it was really almost a matter of like, why don't we do it? And then we opened our first one outside of New York City, just kind of like a proof of concept, I guess you would say. And that went great. And then after that, we just opened our next one. And I'm still in health, wellness, fitness, beauty, women, entrepreneurship. So that's how I know I'm still in my lane, right? So that's what happens. Is like, I always say to young people, it's not always what you're passionate about. It's a little bit about what you're good at. Like, really understand, what am I really good at? And then build from there, right? When you build from what you're good at, where it's flowing through you, that's when magic just starts. The popcorn pops, that's for sure. So that's what happened, with me, and then us being able to all do it together and just keep growing and growing. And what came next? Because at Equinox in the beginning, we were very fitness. Everything was like, the gym, the weights, the classes. And we really, I would say, we believed at that point, if you were fit, and I mean fit, like ripped and muscles, and then you were healthy. And then I had a wake-up call. I jumped out of bed one morning and landed flat on my face, and broke my cheekbone and ended up in Lenox Hill Hospital. And it was like, how? I'm in unbelievable shape, great shape. I mean, I had a resting heart rate very low. My cholesterol 140. My blood pressure 110/70. My body fat, I was lean. I worked out 3-4 hours a day. How? And then it made me realize, wow, you can be really fit and unhealthy. Wow. And then I started the journey of, what is health? Like, what is health? If this isn't health, then what is? And in my journey, I realized you have to be spiritually healthy, mentally healthy, emotionally healthy, physically healthy. Today, I add energetically healthy, because I understand the energy on a different level than I ever have before, financially healthy, and sexually healthy. So, it takes a lot more than just going to the gym and being ripped to really be healthy. And it's when you adapt that holistic lifestyle is when you really are embracing, wellness.
Wow. Can you share how you built that mental, emotional, all those parts of health? What was your journey?
It was very interesting because I was walking around. I still had like a shiner, and I looked horrible, right? And I crossed the street, and there was a man that actually lived in my building, and he saw me, and he was from Colombia. He was the most lovely man, a couple years older than me, and he used to call me Varushka. I know, Varushka, what happened to you? And I'm like, I fell. And he's like, what do you mean you fell? I said, I fell. Like, I didn't want to tell everybody. Like, I got up and landed flat on my face. Anyway, so even as I said this, it was like, why did I just say this? I said, you train, don't you? And he says, yes. And I said, maybe we should train together. And it's crazy because as I'm saying it, I'm thinking, I have a gym with 30 trainers in it. Like, what am I doing? And he says to me, we must do a session and we'll see if the energy is right. That was the first time I ever heard anything like that.
Love it.
So we went and we were together, and he started telling me stories. And he said to me, you have a very busy mind. You have a very busy mind. You're like a little bee. And I'm like, yeah. Anyway, he took me to meditation. And I thought to myself, no, like I can't meditate. Like there's no way. I just have way too much energy. And I went and I did a weekend at City Yoga at this beautiful yoga place in the 80s on the west side of Manhattan. And it was painful. But I did it, and I kept doing it. And then I thought, you know what? I think I'm going to bring meditation into Equinox.
Why was it painful?
Because to sit there for all those hours when you're not trained. And also, the other thing I realized is that we don't meditate to be good at meditation. We meditate to be good at life. Like we don't, and of course, I'm an A personality. It's like, I want to be good at this. Like, I want to be great at this. Like, that's how entrepreneurs are.
Yeah.
We like want to master everything. There's no such thing. Like, it comes from such a different place, right?
Yeah.
So, and I was trying to like get my position and my seating right and everything perfect. And I was just like, I mean, now when I look back, 30 some odd years later, I'm thinking, wow, like, I get. Anyway, so then I brought meditation into Equinox. Like so much of how Equinox, how we evolved was so much with like our personal journeys of some kind of a breakdown. You have this breakdown and then it's like, okay, let's bring meditation into the gym. And people thought we were crazy. And we offered meditation at like 7 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, and then I just started going to that. And then the gentleman who I was meditating with, he did hypnotherapy.
Love it.
And he was amazing. And so I started working with him doing hypnotherapy. And that was a huge game changer for me. Then, once you're open and you start just kind of putting it out there to the universe that you're like, I'm just open. I want to grow. I want to learn. Like, I want to become conscious. I want to understand what it means to be healthy. And you really put it out there, it starts coming.
Yeah.
And then I met another woman by the name of Alita St. James, and she was a member. And I started working with her, and she did spiritual energy work, and she taught me about the chakras.
Yeah.
And I started going to her and working with her a little bit. And then I brought her into Equinox. And she started. So everything I was doing, I started bringing into Equinox. And we had these beautiful chakra balancing classes, and people thought we were crazy. But it was wonderful. They were coming and they were enjoying it. And then from there, I did acupuncture. And I brought acupuncture. We actually created a whole wellness center at Equinox. So that's how I did it. Then I met an Indian guru, and I did a year-long program with him. Then I started doing more personal development. I had already done a little bit of personal development, but personal development was more about like goal setting for business. It wasn't really deep. But
Personal.
it wasn't like real personal development. It was like, yeah. But then I started to go into more deeper personal development. And, so it was like 5-10 years, a little bit of traditional therapy in there. And, I went and did ropes courses and Indian sweat lodges. And I went to India and did a pilgrimage. And,
Wow.
And before you know it, like, when they say you're peeling the layers off of the onion, layers, and then you peel that and you're like, well, there's more. And there's more. And there's always more.
Always.
Like 34 years later, I'm still going to the most amazing. I did a retreat last week.
Oh,
a women's retreat that was amazing. So like I always say, remain the student. If you want to stay young, stay humble and remain the student because there's so much wonderful stuff. I watch some of my friends who's we've done that before. And I'm like, I know, but it's fresh. Like you never know. There were 2 women that were leading it and they were from the UK. They had a completely different way of explaining things and the exercises were amazing. And honestly, I walked out there with like 2 huge breakthroughs. So, I mean, like that's how I, water my seeds of life. Like I'm always like saying, okay, I'm planting and I'm seeding and I'm watering and you just keep growing, and that's how you stay young and current.
Yeah.
And also just loving life. Like when things get too the same, too stagnant, too the same, it's boring.
It is.
It's so boring.
Stay curious.
And life should be colorful and textured and get out of your comfort zone and be uncomfortable. And, I always say if I'm not uncomfortable a few times a week, then I'm not playing big enough.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's a great wisdom. You should write it down. Great. I love it. Actually, I'm following the same wisdom. I love going out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
I think before the show, we talked a bit about MoveJoy. And I love that we came to MoveJoy through your self-development journey.
Yeah.
And now let's talk about the MoveJoy because I think that is also the part of your mission.
Yeah. Oh, I believe that MoveJoy is my missionary work.
Wow.
And anybody who really knows me and knows the way it's downloaded, like literally through God, it is literally my missionary work. I mean, yes, I've been trained for it over the last 40 years, for sure. And I've worked, like we talked a little bit, I've worked with some of the most amazing healers, the most amazing modalities. I mean, my friends always joke and say I could probably have 3 PhDs with all the different, 2-year, I did a 2-year program on this and I did a 2-year program on that and I got completely certified. And I don't do it to teach. I do it just to constantly grow and to learn and to just enrich me, So MoveJoy definitely came from a dark place, but for me, that's how everything in my life, it's always come every breakdown and the bigger the breakdown, the bigger the breakthrough.
Do you mind sharing with your breakdown on
camera?
Yeah,
I mean, I definitely had a breakdown of like a couple of big things, my ex-husband's cancer came back and there was a lot of energy around that and a lot of tension and everything. And when we were finally able to get him back into treatment, and it took a couple months before we were able to get him into treatment. So that was then I learned that my financial guy felt like it was more important for him to make money than me to make money. So he was putting me in things that made him a lot of money and me no money.
Oh, wow.
And it wasn't, honestly, it wasn't about the money so much as it was about the trust and the betrayal. I mean, I had been with him for so many years. I went to his kids' weddings. Like I thought I could, when he said to me, this is this, I believed him. And even at a time when it was like, hey, like I'm going to need to put my energy into this, helping my husband heal. So I trust you. So it was that was the deep heartbreak. And then I had a situation with a family member that literally went from 0 to 100 in like the craziest way. It was like, how How does this go like that? And I mean, that just like put me out. The three of that with a couple other little things and just being in the middle of COVID and everything, it was just like, I just literally could barely get out of bed.
Wow.
I mean, I would get up, I could go through the motions, but my spirit was just completely gone. Like that, like my life force energy, you know, that life force energy that we have in every cell, that was just, it transmuted into something else. Deep sadness, deep sorrow, hopelessness, to be honest. Like there were times when I just thought, this is going to be my new normal. And
Wow.
Lavinia, you're going to figure out how to get through this. You're going to, even if you have to fake it to make it. But I still felt like every day I was in this black cloud. And literally one day I literally heard God say to me, move, move. And I first thought, like, do you want me to move out of this house? Because I'm in this like big house in Malibu by myself. And then the next day I'm sitting outside and I'm just reading a book. And I think I was getting tired and my eyes kind of closed for a second. I move. I'm like, what? Move. So I put on some beats and I just started moving and breathing and affirming and looking at the sun and feeling the energy, like source energy, God energy coming in me. And I'm moving and I'm breathing and I'm moving in ways to just really shift the energy in my body. And some stuff I'd done before in like a little Kundalini class or some other class, but this time it was like downloading into my body in a different way. And plus I'm a dancer. So it was like, I was just going for it. Like,
love it.
I was just loving moving. I was falling in love with moving. And 92% of all women over the age of 38 hate their bodies. Wow. They hate their bodies, because we're conditioned from these phones that this is what, like as if our currency, all of our worth is, if we're a size 4 or we're a size 2 or all of that craziness, And so many of these women hate their bodies. So even when they're moving, like I used to see this all the time at Equinox, I would watch these women. I'd be like, what are they trying to get an alien out of their body? Because they weren't moving with joy. They weren't moving because I love my body. I love my body. It was like, I got to change my body. I got to change. Like, it was just like you could feel the negative energy when they were training. It was all about, and then even some of their trainers would be like, got to hit that goal. And it's like,
too aggressive.
And you know what? We're like, come on, ladies. Let's just first love our bodies. Like that, we have a whole thing like, I love my body. Like, I love my body. I love it. And you know what? Then from there, then we could say, I love my body and I desire it to be fitter. Yesterday, I was in Vegas and I did a wellness and legacy. I spoke at a convention there. And like some of the people were talking about, work-life balance and how in this area, like there isn't work-life balance and everybody's working so hard. And, one person started talking about mindset and, I'm like, it was hitting a nerve for me. And I was like, well, sometimes we have to go a little deeper.
Yeah.
And look at our identity. And sometimes what's keeping us in that grind is because if we are not making money, we don't feel good about who we are. It's our whole identity is making more money, making more money, making more money. And we have to go down and do some deep work on that. And we have that in every area, right? Like, where are we not living our worth?
Yeah.
Where are we trying to work our worth and make money for our worth and, be more beautiful for our worth? Like, we have to go down and do that inner work. I always say a great entrepreneur is a person who's done the inside work.
100%. What is MoveJoy for you, for Lavinia Errico?
For me,
that new business, that new company, what is that for you? What that moves in you?
My legacy, when I look at who I am and what I do, like I have a great legacy already. Like I'm not doing this for my legacy, but and when I went back, I worked with somebody on like, what do I really value? Like, what are my strongest values? Like, what are those pillars? And what I realized is like my number one pillar and value is being of service. Mm-hmm. And I was that even as a little girl. That's when I finally did that work. I really saw like I was that little girl that just always wanted to help others. And that's really what MoveJoy is for me. It's helping women. Women are my tribe. I love women. And the reason I love women so much is because, when you heal a woman, you heal her whole family.
Yeah.
You heal her whole community.
Yeah.
So if we really want to make a change in this very divided, very unbalanced, very disruptive world that we're living in, the only people I really believe that are going to do this are going to be the women.
Agree.
So I
Well
really
said.
believe MoveJoy is that. It's that we're moving our bodies to get in touch with more of who we really are, to have that real sense of confidence, real sense of being, like who am I?
I think with the mission that you pursue with MoveJoy, you will definitely get there. Can you tell our viewers what shall they expect there?
Okay, so first of all, like I said before, we're going to release a lot of energy, but you're going to have so much energy. I always say that I'm going to teach you how to be your own Red Bull. You know that monster energy drink? I'm going to teach you, you don't need a Monster energy drink. I'm going to teach you how to engage that so that you have that real, authentic, look who I am. Like I pretty much have this energy from the time I wake up in the morning until I go to bed at night.
Wow.
But I also know how to get a little bit more of it. And I also know how to keep my nervous system. I always say, like, I want to be in the perfect 5. And the perfect 5, if 1 is you're passed out sleeping and 10 you're bouncing off the walls, the 5 is like you're calm, or you're calm and relaxed, you're focused and alert. You're calm and relaxed. So I feel calm and relaxed and I'm focused and alert. That's where I want to be. So when I need to turn it up, I know how to turn it up. When I want to calm down a little bit more, I do. But through the course of the day, I stay at that 5.
I love it.
And that keeps me, and also MoveJoy helps you also be a great listener. Like I don't know if we'll have a chance to do it there, but we do things where it's like really about deep listening. And I believe that when you learn how to listen, that's when you learn how to really communicate with people.
Exactly.
So yeah, we're going to move you. We're going to laugh. We're going to have fun. You're going to, they're going to walk away with with stuff in their toolbox on how to do it.
How to be that perfect 5.
Yeah, how to let go of energy. Because like I said, we have hundreds of emotions that hit us every single day. And 85% of those emotions are negative. They live in our bodies.
Yeah.
You have to know how to release that energy. You have to. I mean, when I hear all these biohacks that everybody's doing, right? Between the food and the red light and the infrared therapy and, all of it. And I do it all, trust me. But to not have a modality and a tool on how to release that negative energy off your body, that to me is, I would do that before I would do any of that other stuff.
Amazing.
And not because I was doing it and I saw, because I was doing all that other stuff. I've been doing infrared sauna since 2001. Infrared sauna, I obsessed with it. Yeah. So I was still doing it when I was in my funk. I was doing my infrared sauna. I had my red light therapy. I was journaling. I was but it wasn't until I started really connecting to the life force energy and the movement in a certain way and breathing. And the breath work is very important. And I believe, I've been doing breath work for years, but usually you go to a breath workshop and you do it. Have you done a breath workshop?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay,
many
you do it and it's like, great, I love it, it's amazing. But then you don't really do the breath work again until you go to the next breath workshop. And the truth is, if you were to do just the breath work for a half hour a day, it's great. But people aren't going to do it because we don't have an extra half hour to work out an hour and do breath work. So this way, I'm giving you the breath work right into the movement.
Love it.
Right into the movement. So you're moving, you're sweating, you're releasing, you're working your muscles, and we do breath work through the entire.
Wow.
And it makes you strong. I get you a little high. I get you high in the beginning. I'll say, going to make you a little high on your own supply.
Yeah.
And then, what happens is when you get that little high in the beginning, it's like, I'm ready to go,
Yeah.
and then you're just all in it, all in it.
Incredible. Thank you. Thank you for being with us. And my very last question, what is empowerment for you?
Empowerment for me is living my truth, like really embodying my truth, like who I am, and living it unapologetically, authentically. Yeah, that's kind of my truth. That's for me, empowerment.
That's an amazing answer. Thank you very much for being with us today. Thank you for watching us.